And we are underway here at the Maglio Gymnasium. It is the last team match for the wrestling squad for the rest of the season. I believe at the moment, I don't have confirmation, I believe this is a JV match, but I know you figured last team match, why not call it and get some video out for you guys. So right now, St. Joe's holds a 9-0 lead. Dalton Vasanella currently out there for the Falcons, the 136 weight class. And Vasanella with a quick 2 points for the Falcons. Dalton Vasanella, his last wrestling match of his career. 50 seconds left to go in the first. Vasanella still in control. And the ref will call him out. 38 seconds left to go. This gym was packed just last night for the St. Joe's versus Spotswood GMC first round matchup in basketball. Falcons narrowly come away with a victory in that one. Josh Ingram with a career high 38 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals, as well as getting on the 1,000-point scorer list. And Dalton Vasanella gets a point, putting up to 4. That's a pin for Dalton Vasanella. The senior going out on top. Ladies and gentlemen, Dalton Vasanella. And that looks like it'll do it for the JV matchup. So St. Joe's with a 15-0 victory over Dumont in JV, and we'll get varsity underway very quickly, as it looks like first matchups are already heading back out. And a bit of an interesting dynamic we have in this game. Dumont, not a full team rather for Dumont, so it'll be just around 8 or 9 matchups, I believe, in this one. So once again, Dalton Vasanella capping off a dominating JV victory for the Falcons. They win 15-0 in the JV matchup, and I'll be right back for the varsity matchup, the main event here in the Maglio.
Dalton also became an started wrestling as a sophomore and put a lot of time and effort into getting better every day. Dalton was also a member of the crew team towards the end of the wrestling season, go through an entire wrestling practice and go right to the crew room to start practicing there as well. Dalton picked up his first career varsity win this year and floated between 132 and 138-pound weight classes this year. In the fall, Dalton plans on attending either Lafayette, Bucknell, or competitively at the school. Look at that senior, Austin Costello. Our next senior is Jake Sargo. Jake transferred this year from Bergen Catholic. Looking forward to having a great season here. 48 hours for the Peace of the East. A serious injury forcing just the next 5 weeks. Since Jake has returned to the lineup at 165 pounds, he has placed third in the county tournament with valuable points, leading the St. Joe's first ever county championship. Has been a vital part of the team this year. Jake plans on attending either the University of Wisconsin, Stevens, TCNJ, or NJIT next year. Once again, fans, senior Jake Sargo. Our next senior is senior Jay Dooley. Jake Dooley, in 2 short years of wrestling, has shown for himself as one of the top heavyweights in the state. This year, he had a blood round finish in the prestigious Peace of the East tournament. He took second at the Egg Harbor Christmas tournament. He won the GMC County title, as already this year surpassed his win total from last year. Jake looks to add to his trophy case this year in the district or region tournament. Jake has been a valuable piece of the lineups solidifying the upper weights. Jake is currently still deciding between East Stroudsburg, Roanoke, Dickinson, and several other schools. Once again, thanks senior Jay Dooley. Our next senior is senior Evan Mendez. Evan missed his entire sophomore year with shoulder injury, slowing him down briefly, but not for long. As a junior, Evan won a district title, region title, and won matches down in Atlantic City. This year, Evan looks to add even more accomplishments to his list. He's already won a county title and look forward to defending his district and regional titles. Over the course of 3 wrestling seasons, Evan has accumulated 74 wins in 3 seasons without missing the entire season, will be contender to get 100 wins. Evan has been a huge part of the lineup the past couple of years and will be sorely missed. Evan will continue his academic and wrestling career next year at Dumont University. Once again, thanks senior Evan Mendez. Our next senior is senior Vincent Jenna. Assistant has been a 3-time GMC placer in district champ, a 3-time regional qualifier, and your regional finalist last year, leading up to his first trip to Atlantic City. Over the course of 4 years, so far Vincent accumulated 78 wins and many other accolades along the way. He helped a steady hand in the St. Joe's lineup on their way up and rising the rankings. Vince plans on continuing his academic and wrestling career at TCNJ next fall, with Coach Monty and his staff. Once again, senior Vincent Jenna. And our next senior is Giovanni Alejandro. Gio is leaving St. Joe's as one of the most decorated wrestlers in the program's history. As a freshman, he set the single-season win record with 35 wins. A district title that was 1 round away from qualifying for AC. Since his freshman year, he has been on a tear, becoming the first 4-year wrestler in St. Joe's history to win 100 wins. While becoming a 2-time county champ, a 2-time district champ, a 2-time state qualifier, and this year becoming the first St. Joe's wrestler to place Peace of the East as he took 7th place at 178 pounds. Gio looks to defend his district and regional status as we move up to the postseason next weekend. Gio is undecided on where he will be going to school next year, but he has offers to wrestle at Pitt, Johnstown, Rider University, Rockhaven, and Buffalo. And senior Giovanni Alejandro.
And we are back live for the varsity matchup. St. Joe's versus Dumont. St. Joe's took a 15-0 victory in the JV matchups, and the man who capped off that victory is sitting right beside me right now, Dalton Basanella. Dalton, I mean, you got a match going on right in front of you, but I want to talk a little bit about that pin. It was your last match ever in the Maglio Gymnasium, so I'm sure there's a lot of emotions. If you just want to talk about what went down in that match for you.
Well, I hate to talk during Whitford's match, but he's going to have a lot more of those, so don't feel too bad. During my match, well, the kid wasn't terrible. He was somewhere in between good and bad. But no, I had probably could have hit a pin a little earlier, but I really knew what the crowd wanted.
Of course.
Coach told me what he wanted, so I went out there and I hit it with the spladle.
A man of the people, Dalton
Man of the
Basanella.
people.
So right now, the 144 matchup to start off the varsity match. Like you said, Whitford is out there right now for St. Joe's.
He's one of our top guys, freshman, but came on, hit the ground running. I didn't even know he was a freshman when I was on the. I thought he was a transfer because the way he carries himself, he's really mature, very good wrestler.
No one goes to the ground yet, and finally Whitford makes the first attack.
It's a pretty neutral position, but we do practice this in the room, so I'm confident Whitford should be able to score here. 30 seconds on the clock. The kid goes for a funk roll on Whitford, but with height, Whitford's able to turn into a dominant position. Ooh, just barely escaping at the edge.
Coach is calling for 2 points. Ref is not going to give it to him.
No, you see, could argue too, but I also see where the ref is coming from.
So 17 more seconds left to go in the first.
They're probably, I don't
matchup.
expect a big shot here first round. Both wrestlers are still kind of gauging each other. Props for Whitford, though, for keeping it pretty aggressive. And that'll end off the first period.
Yeah, so Whitford obviously very successful in the GMC individuals. And like you say, he's just a freshman. So, I mean, Dalton, you've been with the team for a little while now. Whitford just walking in. What did you see from him before the season started in the weight room that really kind of convinced you that he could be this good?
Well, like I said earlier, the way he walked in, the way he carried himself, the seriousness he had made me think that he was, for all I knew, a senior who transferred in. Every year, Coach has been really good with recruiting, Coach Carbone, getting some good wrestlers in here. He has some good connections, so it's no surprise, really, but lucky we were able to get Whitford.
About 15 seconds into the second period. Once again, looks like that neutral position for both wrestlers.
Yeah, Whitford did start on top, so I believe, Whitford started on top, so he has to maintain top position or else he will be giving out an escape. He's able to climb back on top, pretty good positioning. It's a close one right now.
Yeah, still no points on the board for either side. It's a very weird matchup. I don't know if I've ever seen it just this evenly matched and both wrestlers not playing too aggressive, very passive so far.
Now this is what you see with really good guys on both teams. I remember Gio's match a few days ago. He won 1-0 by an escape. So it does happen, but they're pretty crazy matches. I expect the gym to be getting pretty rowdy if it gets to the same point.
Around a minute left to go now in the second. It's Whitford on top, but once again, still no points on the board for either side.
Now he has a dominant position, but the other guy just got a good quad pot up. He was able to snap that right down. And they're giving him some coaching right now, but the other guy seems to be pretty stubborn. Oh, he's trying a mat return here. Wasn't able to get the most explosive one, but either way, guy ended up back on the mat, so.
Whitford still on top, still in control. Around 20 seconds left to go now in the second.
Oh, there we go. Now that is a good mat return. With 10 seconds left on the clock, don't want to jinx it, but I do not think the Dumont wrestler will be able to get out.
And as the final seconds are ticking down, still no points after 2. And Dalton, how common is this to see absolutely no points on the board for either side
Well,
after
I tell
two?
you, I see it sometimes, but not usually with Whitford. Whitford's been a machine this year, but I still feel confident that he can win it. Right now, he's starting on bottom, so all he has to do is stand up, escape, and that's a point. One thing Coach prides himself on is working in the room with our endurance, so Whitford should still have the gas left in him to finish this match.
And yeah, man, I mean, you can look at it from like a perspective point of view, like I do every single time. But it's only 6 minutes, but man, it is a grueling 6 minutes for all those guys out there. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Oh yeah, you know, I've had matches, depending on the way the match goes, 3 minutes will feel like longer than 6.
Now Whitford finally on the board, takes a 1-0 lead. Just over a minute left to go in the 144 matchup.
Yeah, like you said, they have 1 minute to go. Whitford's looking pretty good. His stance is tight. That very serious, very work-like nature he has. Ooh. The other kid has a good single leg. Went out the back door, but Whitford is defending nicely. I gotta be honest, I don't love this position for Whitford, but like I said, good wrestler. Ooh, this is tight, this is tight.
It's close for Whitford.
Oh, they gave the other guy too.
It's 2 points for Dumont. Whitford has 35 seconds.
Whitford just needs an escape to tie it up, which would bring it into overtime. Oh, shoosh.
Tyler Whitford.
Oh, the changeover.
Over 20
he
seconds
needs to
left.
crossface spin.
Jim is getting louder and louder. Can Tyler Whitford tie it up?
He's nearly at 2. He's just got to break that guy's grip. Oh no, he's lost positioning. Just get 1. 2.
And there's 2 for Tyler
and
Whitford.
takes
Massive
the lead
points.
with 2 seconds left.
And Tyler Whitford, by the skin of his teeth, coming out on top.
And that's why Coach teaches us to keep going to the very end.
Man, that was a nail biter all the way to the end.
Going back to what you're saying, 6 minutes may not sound like long, but we train, have 2-hour practices, and frankly, I'd rather have a 2-hour practice than a 6-minute match against a good kid.
Man, I mean, that is just crazy to hear someone say that, but I could definitely see it. I mean, with how hard those guys are going out there, it definitely makes sense.
Especially some of the positions you're put in, you really have to work if you don't want to get pinned.
Now Evan Mendez will head out there for the Falcons.
Now this is senior, obviously. He's been a good guy all season long. An immediate takedown off the bat. Evan is a machine.
And Evan winning the GMC individuals at 150.
Starts with a spladle, man. Going after my move, and he pins with it. Jeez.
That is immediate.
That was good work by Evan. Wow, now Evan this year been amazing. He's been getting beat up nonstop, but always getting right back up, and I'm glad he didn't have to work too hard for this match.
And Dalton, when Evan won those GMC individuals, I talked to him a little bit right after the match. He got on the broadcast, and I mentioned to him, hey, you barely were ranked in the top 5 for GMC 150 weight class, and he just said, like, he just took it and he used it as motivation, and that's what he did to win the 150 and get the gold. Now Vincenna is out here for St. Joe's.
Well, I think I could speak to that a little bit for Evan. Is just the fact that he has that energy in him, that underdog mentality, that if you want to say, you want to look at his wrestling and say maybe he's not what he earned, which is first in the GMC, he earned that through his hard work. A lot of hard work from him.
About a minute and a half left to go in Vin's matchup. In control with a 2-0 lead.
Quick takedown by Vin. Pretty good, yep. By the edge a bit, so he's going to want to work in before he tries any big rolls or big finishing moves.
About a minute left to go. They're going to call him
Minute
out.
left in the first period, 2-0. Now I know Vin's got a 6-minute gas tank because I saw his match against St. Peter's the other day. So I know if he can hang with that, this should be a cinch.
About 50 seconds left to go in the first. Vin still leads by 2 in the 157 matchup.
And Vin's really putting in that work with a lot of different hands. And does give out the 1, but sometimes that's a good move because coach always says 1 rather than 2. And now he immediately gets 2, making it worth it. He's going for a combination for backs, but the ref is not giving it to him yet.
Vin is just overpowering his opponent.
With 15 seconds on the clock, I don't think he's going to get any more backs, but a good solid period, and he's still working as the clock winds down.
He's trying to rip that arm up. Doesn't look like he's going to get it as the final couple seconds, like you said, are going to tick down. So at the end of 1, Vin leads 4-1. St. Joe's leads 9-0.
I imagine this is a big kick to the face. You know, we have some back-to-back strong guys, good matches. So the other team must be really racking their brains to see what they can do.
Yeah, St. Joe's ranked 13th in the entire state of New Jersey, which is a very good state for wrestling. So it's an
and I wouldn't be
incredibly
surprised if that
impressive
13th ranking went up after we beat St. Peter's. I believe they were ranked 10th.
So now Vin leads 6-1 in this matchup.
Impressive score. You know, if you don't have the mentality that Coach Carbone really instilled in us, going down 6-1, guy might be ready to give up. I don't know
very
too much.
true.
I don't know too much about their program, but here we don't give up 6-1.
It's big in the mindset in wrestling. It's just when your body will never give up. It's all in the head. And Vin is one of those guys that just won't give up no matter what the circumstance is. About a minute left to go in the second.
Vin is sporting his orange wrestling shoes, which some of the guys in the wrestling room like to hide on him sometimes. It's a little fun fact.
Well, it looks like he found him, and it looks like they're doing wonders for him right now. 45 seconds left to go in the second. And Dalton, is Vin much of a guy that usually attacks for the pins, or is he just looking for the points?
Now, Vin doesn't go crazy for he won't force a pin where it's not there. He sometimes even lets the guy back up, giving him the 1 just so Vin can take him right back down to get to 2. That being said, he will capitalize if he sees a pin.
So Vin will start in control.
Now, like they mentioned earlier, Vin is hoping to wrestle next year. Should actually wrestle next year at TCNJ. Just waiting for the final word to come in, I believe.
25 seconds left to go now in the second. Vin still leads by 5.
With 16 seconds on the clock, I think there won't be much more movement. Vin's still working hard, though.
And final seconds are going to tick down. So going into the third, once again, just dominating performance from Vincent Jenna.
8-1 in the final, going into the final period. The other kid chooses neutral, I believe. Oh, and Vin quick with the takedown. Or, well, quick with the single leg, about to go into a takedown. Kid's able to block the go behind, or the out the back door.
No one
Now
taking
Vin's in a
control
good
just yet.
position here because the other guy really has to work. Where not stalling, but Vin just has to defend and play it smart.
Passive wins the game. That was a close call. Vin trying to get the takedown. He'll get the 2 points, but almost on the hardwood. I can't imagine what that would have felt like. Dalton, I don't know if you've ever experienced that where you're just barely go off the mat and just go right onto the hard floor?
I tell you once, as weird as it sounds, my shoe hit the hardwood floor, the soles of my shoe, and that stung for the rest of the match.
So Vin taking a commanding 10-1 lead.
Which is enough for the major, which for people who don't know wrestling is an 8-point lead. Unless I'm getting that wrong, which I could be.
Oh man, you're my wrestling expert right now, Dalton. I gotta count on you. Everything you say is Bible right now.
Well, I'm just going for pins when I'm out there.
Of course. That's elite mindset right there, Dalton. 60 seconds left to go in the 157 matchup.
And what's looking like a good win for St. Joe's as well. Vin's now going to keep up the pressure, but like I said, all a mental game, and that guy on bottom is starting to feel it.
Starting to tire out.
I mean, in his position, you'd need a miracle to win it.
Just 35 seconds left to go now, and once again, it looks like Vincent Jenna is going to take a commanding victory in this one. Not a pin, but absolute dominance throughout the entire 6 minutes.
Ooh, even in the last seconds, he refuses to let the guy get out.
So Vin, once again, will start in control at the middle of the mat. Just over 20 seconds left.
He traps the arm under the guy's body, so it's going to be pretty hard to build out. He does break it free to Dumont wrestler, but Vin just has an overwhelming good pressure on the guy. Very good. With 3 seconds left, I wouldn't expect a big change.
And you won't see a big change. Vincent Jenna with the victory, winning 10-1. Adding on a few more for St. Joe's tally.
Incredible. So now St. Joe's takes the 13-0 lead. Fingers crossed, we might even get a clean sweep tonight. I don't know.
A shutout.
That was a little early to call, but
We'll
I know
knock
these
on wood
guys
right there
work
for you,
hard.
Dalton. Don't wanna jinx anything. Maybe Jake Zargo, the transfer, heading on for the Falcons in the 165 matchup.
Now he's missed a lot of time. He's beat himself up about it, but overall he's one of our better wrestlers. He works hard, and he's ready to really make up for the time he missed.
And Dalton, I'll ask you the same question that I asked about Vin: is Zargo a big pin guy, or is he once again just looking to get the points just here and there?
Well, I will be honest, Zargo obviously missed the 5 weeks. I haven't seen too much of his wrestling. The first few matches he slow to come back. Then after that he really hit the ground running. A few good pins, but he came back for the brunt of the season where we were facing teams in the top 10. So settling for few point wins better than pinning a kid who's not that good anyway.
So about 1:15 left to go. Zargo with a 2-0 lead.
Zargo as well, one of the guys who I believe won his match against St. Peter's, top 10 team in the state. Oh, and now he has the guy in a bundle. Oh, and you might get your pin.
And the Dumont wrestler is trying to fight it, but looks like he might succumb to it.
And this is a brutal position to be put in. Coach Zargo, as he's called in the room, really putting in the pressure here, not relenting at all. Finally, the kid does manage to get 3 free, but not after giving up 3 back points.
So half a minute left to go in the first. Zargo leading 5-0.
Given a good hard ride for the last 13 seconds.
Yeah, there's a few seconds tick down. Looks like Zargo's going to take a 5-0 lead heading into the second. So, Don, I'll ask you about Coach Carbone. I mean, he came back to this program and he started it from scratch, essentially. It's been over 20 years since we've had wrestling before Coach Carbone came in. So, what is the kind of mentality and the kind of emotion and just the feel overall that he gives in the weight room, in training? Just what do you feel from Coach Carbone?
Well, he's always very serious, always very good at motivating us. He's brought in a lot of good talent to help. He has a wealth of wrestlers that he knows that he brings in to coach on certain techniques, wrestlers he's coached in the past, all kinds of wrestlers.
So as the second period gets underway, Zargo adding 2 more.
He's even going to get some backs here. That in. So that's going to make it 10-0. Only 5 points away from the major, or from the technical fall, rather. Which technical fall is a beautiful way to win.
I mean, that is the most dominant win I think you can get, maybe even more than a pin.
I was going to say, sometimes you get lucky in a pin. When you win with a tech fall, they know there's no luck. All work.
That's just the better wrestler. That's simply what it is. Zargo still in control. Looking for the pin again.
I was going to say again, it looks like he might have it here. Oh, that's just a suffocating position.
And there it is. So Jake Zargo scores 10 points and then decides to get the pin for St. Joe's, making it a 19-0 lead.
Yes, now those 6 bonus points are big, of course. I mean, I don't want to talk too much because we're pretty close to the Dumont bench, but oof, if I was on their bench, I wouldn't be too motivated right now.
Yeah, it's not looking too bright, and I was talking to a couple of St. Joe's wrestlers, and they sounded very confident coming into this one. We'll just say that.
Yeah, well, all season St. Joe's has had a schedule with top teams. St. Joe's being a top team themselves, I can say that luckily I haven't been in Dumont's position too much, where I have to cheer my guys going out there with a 0-19 deficit.
Now it's Andrew Bouchard placing second in the GMC individuals, the junior.
Sophomore.
We'll scratch that. The sophomore, even better for Andrew, out there right now in the 175 matchup.
Oh, and he's got the Merkle leg in. Now, if that was me, I'd go right for the spladle, but not the most dominant move you could do.
And Bouchard, I mean, for as much as I've watched him this year, he just looks like an absolute bully out there.
Oh yeah, Bouchard gets really fired up for all his matches. Even coming off the matches, I know to steer clear for a little bit, let him calm down, even when he wins, which is most of the time.
Yeah. Just over 50 seconds left to go in the first. Bouchard leading by 2.
Now this may not look like it, but this is just a dominant match by Bouchard. Even with just a 2-0 lead, he's really working on the guy, putting in pressure. And the guy on the bottom, to avoid the stall call, really has to work his way up, which is something that's just really difficult when you got 175 pounds on your back.
I couldn't imagine anyone being able to do that. So as the final seconds tick down in the first, Bouchard's going to try and tack on a couple more, but we'll likely see a 2-0 lead for Andrew Bouchard heading into the second. And that is what we'll get. So Andrew Bouchard, not a ton of points, but it is a solid lead heading into the second period.
And like I said, he definitely is wearing down that guy who already seems pretty beat up. He's got the shoulder brace, which I know can mean that he's good to wrestle, but there's always a bit of strain put there.
Second period gets underway. Bouchard looks like he might break free very soon, starting from the bottom.
Going pretty cautiously with the stand-up, but I'd say he's out, and he is out. Oh, and additionally, I believe that's a stall warning on the Dumont wrestler for just holding him there and not looking to bring him back down to the mat.
Bouchard looking for the kill here.
And that's what I said. Bouchard on the mat turns into an animal.
And nearing the edge, the ref will call him out. But not before Andrew Bouchard can tack on 2 points, taking a 4-0 lead in the second.
Now, what you see with a lot of the good wrestlers like Bouchard is really good training partners. At practice, Bouchard's always wrestling around with Brian Christie, who I would believe, if I remember correctly, was named Freshman of the Year in his freshman year by the GMC committee.
Yeah, and Christie also winning the GMC individual. So that's a lot of pure dominance for St. Joe's on this team this year. Andrew Bouchard is one of them.
Iron sharpens iron.
Bouchard's going to tack on 3 more.
Now just unrelenting on the bottom wrestler. With 40 seconds left and the amount of pressure that Andrew Bouchard is putting on him, Dumont wrestler would need a burst of energy to escape here.
And Bouchard grabbing at the hands here. Dalton, I don't know if you know, what is the strategy there?
Well, there's a number of different moves you can go off of based on what the guy gives up. If the guy gives up a wrist or a half. But just that's what you want to see in a good top ride, what Bouchard's doing, which is pressure with the hips. He's on his toes, so all his weight is going on to the guy, and then constantly attacking at the hands. Ooh, now he gets a little high after they reset from the stalemate, but just a massive throw by Bouchard.
And that is one of the most strengthful feats I think I've ever seen in a wrestling match. Just picked him up by one leg and one arm.
Oh, and they gave out some points to make that 11-0. Now will Bouchard decide he finally wants to get the pin like Zarka, or will he make it a tech fall?
Yeah, I think they just like to tire him out first and then go for the pin. They just like to have a little fun with their food.
Oof, better be careful saying that, so close to the Dumont bench.
So start of the third period.
Ooh,
Minute
and just
45.
a nice
What's
go
up?
behind. Now that's something that they've really focused on practicing in the room this year. Sprawling into the go behind. Now he only needs 2 back points to be able to make this a technical fall, and with a minute 27 left, that's looking like a real possibility.
Yeah, like I said, just 2 more points. I think it would be the first technical fall that I would have broadcasted so far this season. So Andrew Bouchard possibly making St. Joe's media history right here. Minute left to go.
Well, he's definitely not giving up, which, you know, you could see some wrestlers with a massive lead like him just accepting the 13-point win, but he's looking to get St. Joe's that extra bonus point, which would make the score 24-0. Will he get it?
Bouchard putting in some work on the ground.
Oop, and they gave him the back points, which will make this a technical fall. Ending the match with 24 seconds to spare.
So Andrew Bouchard in a little over 4.5 minutes. Just absolute dominance, 15 points. And he gets the tech fall, adding on 5 more to the Falcons' 19-point lead, making it a 24-point lead.
Now again, we have another big guy who I was surprised to learn wasn't even an upperclassman, Gio Spallino, accepting the forfeit win from Dumont.
So just add on a couple more points for St. Joe's. Why not?
Yes. Now, Spallino's had a pretty rough season. Not in the win-loss record, but just in the fact that he's been going against some really good guys. win or lose, he's always putting in a lot of effort, often wrestling up a weight class.
And Dalton, I mean, while Brian Christie ran out for his match right here in the 215, I think I saw a smile on his face. It's almost like he could see the future and what was about to happen in this match. I don't know if he does that often, but Brian Christie seems very confident in this matchup.
I'll tell you, he never really gets too afraid of the people he's wrestling. He always goes out there with that opposite of the underdog mentality. He goes out there knowing he's gonna win, knowing he's gonna pin even when he's not, which I have to clarify is like, I think 1 time, 2 times all season I've seen him. But no, he always goes out there, good energy, good attitude, ready to get that pin.
Minute 20 left to go in the first. Christie leads 2-0.
Now he's also wrestled for us at the weight class below, and as he ran out for 215, you could see absolutely unfazed, and he gets the pin on the heavier opponent.
Yeah, so Brian Christie rudely interrupting you, Dalton, with a pin.
Very much so. I'll have to talk to him after the match.
Yeah, hey, you gotta tell him, time those pins right. You gotta listen for when I'm done with my monologue, and then you can go out there and get the win.
But really good pin by him. I wish I would have seen it a little better. You see, with people like Christie, you blink and it's over. Now Tully taking the win, the forfeit victory to make it 42-0, a crushing score.
This is absurd. I mean, I just have to laugh at this score right now. I've never seen anything like this.
Now much smaller than Tully, of course, Julian Arango at 106. Quick word on Tully, he's one of our seniors this year. And my goodness, has he been a surprisingly great wrestler from the minute he came in the room.
Yeah, Tully, star offensive tackle on the football team, but he wanted to fully focus on wrestling in the offseason. And man, it is proving to be a very, very nice decision.
Now, for the first time, I believe today, St. Joe's is taking not taking the lead. Rather, the other team is taking a lead with a 2-0 score right now, and that's the freshman Arango. So, you know, he's only getting better, and he's already done great things this season.
But unfortunately for him, currently down 5-0. Could be the end of that shutout prediction earlier. Minute into the first.
Now, it's incredible seeing these 106-pounders in the room because they are obviously very small as far as size, but their energy and their fight, very impressive. Interesting as for a sport where you can have somebody as big as Tully and someone as little as Julian both be absolute stars in their respective weight classes.
And it seems like a whole different sport watching. I mean, when Tully obviously didn't wrestle, but when Tully does wrestle, it's pretty much all upright. And when it's not upright, usually the match is ending via a pin. But then Julian Arango, the entire match is essentially on the mat.
I'd almost say that there's 3 different wrestling styles, which would be the lightweight, the middleweight, and the heavyweight. In lightweight, there's a lot of what you see now, which is good leg riding. Middleweight tends to be a mix of the two, and then heavyweight is really that upper body, big rolls, big head turns. And that simply comes down to big guys can't move as fast, can't throw in their big legs as much as these little guys can.
Yeah, and after one, Julian Arango trails 5-0. And Dalton, you talked about that mentality. Vincent Jenna would never quit if he was down 6-1. Is Julian Arango the type to quit right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't seen him down by that much this season, but I'd say he's not. As you can see, he was looking at the scoreboard before the match started just to see how much he needs to score.
And Arango looking for the pin.
When you look at that, a great mat return by Arango, called potentially dangerous by the ref.
And he was out for revenge after the way that first period went.
You can already see he's right back at it. And the Dumont wrestler, slow to get up.
We might get a medical timeout here.
He will be seeing the trainer. Now you see this with certain teams when they go really hard in the beginning, and the St. Joe's guys are just have that endurance. So they might be down the first two, but after that, the next two periods, St. Joe's can usually get a pretty dominant comeback.
And we'll see how Julian Arango responds when the Dumont wrestler is ready to head back out this.
Okay, with the match resuming, I hope that Julian will be able to pop out a pretty good lead. Pressure immediately.
Show a lot of aggression coming into the second. Will he show that same aggression coming in from the medical timeout?
Oh, and he's pushing forward with a good grip. Looking for what I believe is a cradle right now.
Just over a minute left to go in Arango's matchup. Still trailing by 5. He's looking to change that very soon.
Is in a bit of a dangerous position here where you could get a Peterson roll. But it looks like he's able to stave off any kind of reversal. But with a minute left, oh, it's not looking good. And Julian gets reversed to make the score 7-0, or 0-7 for the Falcons.
And Arango looking like he might need a pin in order to take home the victory in this one.
But if I know one thing is he's not going to quit. Now, like I was referencing earlier during the break, that while this team, may look like we have a pretty dominant foothold, they do have some, Dumont has some good wrestlers up and down their lineup. Oh, and Julian almost manages to get out. Oh, he nearly has the escape, but looks like with 5 seconds left, the guy might be able to just hold on long enough to stave off any escape or reversal.
And he will. A 9-0 lead for Dumont in the 106 matchup.
Very upsetting there, because I know if Julian had a few more seconds, he would have a lead.
So Arango looking for a miracle here. The final 2 minutes. Okay. Minute and a half left to go. Arango still trails by 9.
Oh, and I don't even know if I can watch the rest of this match. With that reversal by the Dumont wrestler, it is not looking good for Julian, who all I can optimistically say is a freshman, and maybe I'll come back next year, watch a few matches, and I expect that he'll be improving. Only one way to go.
Just under a minute. Arango on the bottom, not looking too hot. So it looks like Dumont will score their first points of the match.
Now, although I think Gio had a little bit of a better record his freshman year, I do see a lot of parallels between Gio and Arango. So perhaps Arango, by his senior year, will reach the heights that Gio did. Oh, and a reversal for Arango, making the score 2-11.
Can Julian pull off the miracle in the final 20 seconds?
Now the bench is going wild.
10 seconds left
But
now.
unfortunately, with 10 seconds, I don't know. I'm praying.
Doesn't look like it. So Julian Arango will have to take the loss, and Dumont will score their first points of the match.
And that will end off with a score of 2-11.
So 42-4. The lead shrinks minuscule for the Falcons. Only a 38-point lead.
Now we're sending out John Whitaker. Yeah, John Whitaker. Sorry, I almost forgot his last name for a second, as he is called Witty in the room. Even has Witty down on his varsity jacket.
So Whitaker, the 113 matchup. And Dalton, I mean, you know more than I would. Is this match already over in terms of St. Joe's winning? Like just technically, is it even possible for Dumont to come back?
I believe they can't come back overall. Although you would still like to see the rest of our team get wins, as they're approaching postseason and they are in their individuals. They want to help tack on to their records. And I'm sure a few of the younger guys are looking to get 100 wins by their senior year like Gio did.
So no points yet for either side.
Now Witty is fighting pretty well. Now an interesting thing to note is that he did take third place, I believe, in GMCs, but only due to a forfeit or a disqualification from dropping the other wrestler too hard on his head.
Oh, wow.
So just a monster at 113.
Yeah, who would have known? Who knows what he could have done? Maybe even win it all for St. Joe's if not disqualified.
I would be pretty confident in his win, as I believe he was up by a good big lead before he was forced to take the loss.
Dumont takes a 2-0 lead.
Oh, and after Dumont scored, Witty is quickly able to reverse it to make the score 2-2.
Final few seconds tick down, but not before the ref calls them out. 6.5 seconds left to go in the first, tied at 2.
Now as they go back to the center of the mat, you see Witty really in the zone.
Whitaker almost letting him out here.
And just also avoiding a stall call, which sometimes will happen if he has a narrow grip and is just clearly holding on, but was able to pull him in for some progress.
That was close there. Dumont could have taken the lead. Instead, we'll head into the second, tied at 2. So the second period gets underway here.
And he going for a tilt, but unfortunately the guy seems to just be a little bit longer, able to base out before Witty can sink in for a count. Gotta watch his weight here. Ooh.
It's close by Whitaker. It was dangerous position.
And now the opponent from Dumont will get a reversal. But with a minute left in this period and a whole nother period to go, confident Witty can work. So just filling in what happened. Some injury time for St. Joe's.
Yeah, for Whitty down there, you hope it's nothing serious. You hope it just lasts for the next couple of minutes, even if he has to give up the win in this one. Don't want anything to affect.
His postseason.
Exactly, yes.
Next week, Falcons are going to districts. The whole team is sending, and we are expecting a lot of guys to place and win. Whitty being one of those guys we expect to come out with a first place medal. Slow to stand, although he is standing now. If I know one thing is Whitty will wrestle if he can stand.
And looks like he will.
The only thing I can say is I hope the other wrestler did not get too much of a little break.
40 seconds left to go in the second.
Now, I'd even be curious if this could possibly motivate Whitty, get a little angry. Although I do have to say, I think he wrestles best when not angry.
And he's down by 5 right now.
Down by 5, but he is closing in on a reversal.
He's got a really good grip on the right leg of Dumont here.
Oh, but Dumont does manage to get the ankle grip. Nothing comes of it. With 8 seconds left, is he going to get it? The crowd is getting antsy.
Doesn't look like it, so that'll be the end of the second. Dumont leads 7-2 over Whitaker.
Now, interestingly enough, 5 points is not an unbeatable number there. The 5-point difference, Whitty would need to get a takedown and 3 back points, which is possible, especially since he is starting in bottom, meaning he would only need to stand to get a point, making that only a 4-point deficit.
Whitaker starting off on bottom.
Ooh, and the guy looking to go with a guillotine roll, but Whitty barely managing to get out before he hits it.
20 seconds into the third, no points yet for Whitty. He's gonna need some soon.
An almost devastatingly tight grip from the other guy with the leg in and Whitty's left arm, which he's now putting in a bar. Ooh, a tight bar really hurts you when you're down.
Whitaker in a dangerous spot here. He's got to get out of it if he has any chance of winning this match.
Oh, just narrowly there was a gap, but that's something that would be really hard to seize, even from some of the best wrestlers on our team.
Minute left to go for Whitaker.
Staving off a near pin right now from the Dumont wrestler. And as I heard Coach Zargo, or Jake Zargo, the wrestler, Coach Zargo as he's called affectionately, saying that Whitty's got 50 seconds left, now down to 40. So it's not over. I don't hear no bell.
It's not looking good for Whitaker. Still needs a miracle. And Dumont still in firm control here.
Now with a 10-2 lead, realistically, we're just hoping Whitty can stand to make it 3-10 and stave off the major victory.
Final few seconds are going to tick down. And that'll be it. So Dumont taking the 10-2 victory in the 113 matchup.
Unfortunately not able to get a last-minute escape. That will add 4 points to the score for the Dumont team, now making it 42 to a mighty 8.
Here we have the next matchup.
Now at 120, typically we have Zachary Beedling wrestling, but due to medical reasons, he is not today. Zachary Beedling's been one of our best wrestlers since he came to the program last year. Last year as 106, I even sparred with him a little bit in the room, and he managed to pin me quite a few times, actually all the times, despite the massive weight lead I had on him. So that just shows he's a great wrestler.
It's looking
Now
very
Ryan
good for
Farley.
St. Joe's in the 120 matchup right now.
Ryan Farley, who just pinned his opponent. He gets put in a good amount varsity. I'd say close to 50-50 varsity JV. He's a solid wrestler who puts in the work.
We're counting down to some of the last matchups of the day. Here in the 126 matchup, Morgan Schwartz is on for the Falcons.
Last match, I believe somebody called Morgan Schwartz a walking highlight reel because he's just always hitting these very nice, clean moves. He's actually been featured on a NJ Takedown Instagram account, which is just a wrestling Instagram account, for his very clean go-behinds, very clean ducks. Oh, and there is a very nice duck into a scoring position where he lets the guy out. I can only imagine because he believes he's about to take him down again.
2-1 now for Schwartz. We'll see if he can get that another takedown.
Oh, and he's doing his spin drills like we do in the room, right into another takedown. Lets him out again.
He's just going to keep taking these 1-point leads. Score 2, let up 1. 4-2 now.
Up, and he gets another takedown in a blink of an eye to make it 6-2.
Minute left to go in the first. 6-2, like you just said, for Schwartz in the 126 matchup.
Now, I'd imagine that he's just trying to wear down that guy right now because I think he could pin him with the right effort. Oh, and he's sinking in for a guillotine roll. The guy's kind of iron frogging, as it's sometimes called, just trying to build a good base. Oh, Morgan slips it in. And he gets the maximum back points of 3, but the ref has not yet given it out. Oh, there you go.
There it is. There's the 9-2 now for Schwartz.
9-2 in just the first, with the only points the other wrestler scoring being from Schwartz letting him up.
This might be the same case. Just keep getting those points, and then at the end, finally, they might get the pin.
Oh, nearly getting some back points there, but the other Dumont wrestler's able to stave off the back points. But rolls right back into another combination. Able to score 3 more points before the end of the first period.
All right, gotcha. Sorry.
Now Dumont seems to be pretty good at just sitting there, giving up points and not getting pinned. So.
Yeah, hey, I mean, they make for longer matches, but they do not make for good wrestling and wins.
Would you look at that? The Dumont wrestler locks hands, which is an illegal move from top on bottom, to give Morgan one of those points that he gave up earlier right back.
So 14-3 now for Morgan Schwartz. Getting very close to that 15-point lead.
Very nearly. Oh, and he gets the takedown.
A couple more there.
And
Schwartz.
with back points, this might be able to finish it out.
Ooh, close to getting it.
Oh, and that will be it as he gives out the points from the combination. Now, the reason they don't give it out right away is they like to see if the guy will get a pin. Just for their record, they want to see if give the guy the opportunity.
And what looks to be the last match of the day, cannot say for certain.
I believe they are ducking Gio, as he is just one of but St. Joe's most formidable wrestler, who I expect to do big things in states this year.
That should be very fun. We will be heading out to Atlantic City to broadcast Gio among several other wrestlers.
Really?
So be sure to tune in for that. Yes, we are committed to how good this wrestling team is.
That's phenomenal. Last year, of course, we had Nico, who placed 6th, the first wrestler at St. Joe's. However, he was a transfer, so Gio would, if he placed, be the first full St. Joe's wrestler, as Gio came here his freshman year. So back to the 132 match. Mason Atkins in the first minute is holding a 2-2 tie right now. He's currently on bottom. Now, if there's one thing about Mason we're always joking around about is he can get off his back like he's levitating. It's wild.
I would love to see that. We'll see if he gets into that type of situation here in this match.
Now, he wasn't as in much danger as I described earlier. He's usually to escape, but he did manage to get a reversal.
So a couple more there for Atkins, taking a 2-point lead. .47 seconds left to go in the first.
Mason does sometimes put himself in dangerous situations, but this is not one of those times, as he's able to hit his roll pretty well and knows exactly when to give up before letting the other guy seek an advantageous position.
About 15 seconds left to go now in the first. Atkins still leading 4-2. Last few seconds ticking down. Looks like Atkins will head into the second with a 2-point lead, and he will.
Okay, Mason, thanks for the show, but let's get this rolling.
And, I mean, Dalton, I'll ask you again, is he a big pin guy, or are we going to see a lot of points here from Mason Atkins?
Now, Mason Atkins, he suffers from one of the worst things to suffer from on this team, which is just that we have such a tough schedule. He is only a freshman. He has a good winning record on the season, but like I said, when you go against those good guys from DePaul, St. John Montvale, or St. Joe's Montvale rather, it's hard to become a big pin guy. I certainly have those seen. He's had some very clean pins, such as when we spoiled Old Bridge's senior night. Does not look like our senior night would be spoiled though, as we have 53-8 right now for the team score.
Yeah, I mean, this is just pure dominance from St. Joe's. It's almost comical at this point how much they're winning, but it's awesome to have on senior night, man. Just pure dominance, which is what the team has been all season long, and it's on full display here in the Maglio on senior night.
Of course, one of St. Joe's best seasons in the last 5 years. Seems every year we've gotten better. Old Bridge made us their senior night. They're I believe they're ranked 18th now. We just decimated them, a fate that we did not have to receive, as we were just decimating Dumont as well.
9-2 lead now for Atkins.
Just gaining those points, absolutely cleaning up. Now, Chadwick, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Is this not one of the best commentating you've heard in a while?
I mean, shout out to Saketh, Jack Hamler, Giacomo Imperiali. They all pale in comparison to the great Dalton Bassanella. I'll throw that out there right now. Let the world hear that Dalton Bassanella is the greatest color commentator that I've ever broadcasted with. Just knowledge on top of knowledge, a little bit of flair, and then some more knowledge on top of it.
I don't know. Maybe while we're on air, I should get you to agree to this. But I will be going to watch some estates as well, so maybe I can get in for a match or two, get in to commentate a match or two.
It's a possibility, and if that means kicking Saketh or Jack off the broadcast, then I'm happy to do so. I will send them home immediately if it means I can get you on. So the third period getting underway.
Another 2 points for Mason Atkins, just really sealing in a victory for St. Joe's now.
We might see the third tech fall of the entire match from Atkins here.
Just incredible. St. Joe's has so many talented freshmen. Now, senior night, sad, especially since its senior night happened to be the last night many of our Falcon seniors are wrestling, but looking like a bright future.
Atkins still leading by 9. Minute left to go in the third. .45 seconds left now.
And you might start to see some Dumont parents trying to beat the traffic as well.
Oh man, that is that is ruthless, Dalton.
Well, I'll tell you, I was here at the basketball game the other night with some of my friends actually from Spotswood, and they did leave a little early.
Wow, and that was an incredible game too.
It was, but once Josh Ingram had his little run at the end of the game, what was that? I think 6 points at the end of the game or something.
All I know is that he scored 38 points, which is a career high against Spotswood in that game. So I'm sure they were not very happy about that, especially with how many fans they brought into the stadium, which was really cool to see. Probably outnumbering the Falcon flock.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Final 15 seconds will tick down in the 132 matchup. Mason Atkins going to take a pretty comfortable win.
And as I believe next, they will just be forfeiting to Gio. Unless they want to send somebody out to just get pinned, which would be the case when wrestling Gio.
We'll see what happens, but first, Mason Atkins will get another victory for the Falcons, tacking on to this unfathomable lead they have over Dumont.
Oh my, don't tell me that's the guy I wrestled earlier, going out to try and wrestle varsity. Now, I don't want to give myself no credit here, but I am not the best wrestler to see Gio wrestling.
So Gio is out there for the 138 matchup. It's his last match before states. He'll get a quick 2 points to start. You can hear Vincenna throughout the entire gym screaming for 3 points for Gio.
Telling him to squeeze out the pin here. And with that, I'm going to go check out before Gio pins them too quickly for me to get back to shake hands.
Of course, so ladies and gentlemen, once again, Dalton Vasanella. And just like that, Gio Alejandro gets one more pin on the season. So what better way to end off the season for Giovanni Alejandro than to get a pin? He has shown absolute dominance the entire year, capping off the regular season with one more pin, giving St. Joe's the 63-8 victory over Dumont. So once again, the Falcons with a lot of momentum heading in to the state's individuals. We will really try to make it out there to Atlantic City. No confirmation, but I will definitely try to make it out there for you guys. But that'll do it for the broadcast here in the Maglow Gymnasium. Once again, St. Joe's winning 63-8 at the end of this one. So for Dalton Vasanella joining me once again, really want to thank him, getting a pin in his last ever match in the Maglow too, which is awesome.